All right, here's a question for Tiger and Butch. What changes did the two of you make in Tiger's putting stroke after the second round of the Masters? Thank you, Joe Howell.
Well, in all honesty, Peter, Tiger putted probably the worst you've putted in a few years.
Yeah,
on,
terrible.
Thursday and Friday. He, as I said earlier, David Duval had a big lead, and Tiger had hit more greens than David had, and he wasn't making any putts. And he was so upset with himself. We just went home Friday night, and he thought about it, and I thought about it. We came out on the green real early Saturday morning, almost 2 hours before he played, which is about an hour more than he normally would. And all we did was, I said, just putt some. Let's just hit some. There's something going on here we got to figure out. His dad had told him that he thought his hands were a little low.
A little too low, yeah.
And so he's getting his left hand a little weaker here, which got his hands up. Go ahead and take your setup here. And what we saw, Peter, was the blade was coming. You don't have to hit it, but just take it back a little on the inside. The blade was actually coming back on the inside, and most of the putts he missed were to the right and pushed. And I saw that on the putting green. So what we did, go ahead and take your setup here. And this is what our viewers can do at home. It's just a little drill. I took a putter and I put it right in here along the line of where he was going to take it back, and he just took it back where he missed this putter and was able to go ahead and stroke it. Okay, let's do that again. Let's show him that again.
Touch.
So all we did, and you can have a friend do this for you, is I just put this putter blade in here and take one a little inside so they can see what happens. And this happened at first when we got on the putting green, didn't it? He ran right into it.
Or the first couple times I did it, yeah.
He ran right into it, and I'm not going to tell you what he said because this is a family show, but he was a little upset with himself.
And it's not a dysfunctional family show.
All right, let's go again. We got the blade there. This putter's just on the line you got to take it back on. And that's pretty much all that we worked on before you teed off, and you putted beautifully on the weekend.
I did putted great on the weekend. Hit a lot of good solid putts and made a few to get right back in the ballgame.
We got emails on Friday night saying Tiger's eyes are outside the golf ball. I mean, people are watching this and go, that's not his normal stroke. What's going on? A few three putts. Was it easy to, go ahead.
If you think about the speed of those greens, first of all, and you can tell them about that, someone said to me, well, how could Tiger have taken the putter that far inside? I said, look, you're not putting on normal greens here. These are, it's like putting in your bathtub. You're just worried about getting it started.
The problem with a lot of those putts is that a lot of the pros who putt on tour obviously like to release the blade. Like to let the blade pass the hands a little bit. But the problem is when you put on greens that fast, it's virtually impossible to let the blade release like you normally do. So I guess in essence for me to feel like I'm releasing the blade, I started creeping in the inside. So I felt like if I took it inside far enough, I have to release it now. I don't know. Whatever it wasn't good. And we fixed it, and I went back on the weekend and shot a great weekend.
Better weekend than anybody else had, 69, 68. What do you two work on in terms of setup with putting distinct from full shots? Eyes over ball, ball position, those kinds of things. Where does the weight feel in the bottom of his feet?
Well, Tiger has a drill that he uses all the time where he takes 2 tees. Take your setup here, Tegan. We'll use 2 balls. He'll take 2 tees and he'll put them in the ground just about as wide apart as his putter head. And you do this at a tournament and you've got to make, what, 50 in a row before you can go home?
100.
100 in a row before he goes home. And so then he will just stroke these balls. He will try and make this swing.
I'll try to make it one-handed.
He starts out doing it one-handed, just to stroke it so it goes through there. Oops. And the whole key is for the edge of the putter not to hit the tees. Now, the other thing he'll do when he takes his setup, throw me one of those balls over there, Peter, just anyone will work.
Forgot my name for a minute.
There we go. Go ahead and take your setup and show them what you do for your eyes. You'll take your setup.
Well, actually, I'll do this. Sit up normally with my normal weight, normal posture, pull the putter back, put my ball right between my eyes, let it go, and that's where my eyes should be. But I always put a little twist on it. I don't want my eyes exactly on the golf ball. I like them a little bit behind. So I'll drop them right there. I'll move it a little bit further forward, but it's still on the target line.
Now, Jack did that too. What's the benefit of that?
I've always putted there. My entire life, I've always had my eyes behind the ball. And for me to have my eyes on top of the golf ball, I can't see the line.
Are you left-eye dominant?
I am.
That would account for it, it wouldn't.
The other thing we work on a lot, take your setup, Tiger, and we'll talk about head position. Tiger tends to get his head too far forward this way, and I always watch the bill of his cap when he's practicing, and I always take and turn it back to where the bill of his cap is straight up and down. Then I know that he's got his eyes perfect. And this is something we've worked on a lot during this stretch. When we started with it at the PGA last year when you putted so well, and just went on from there.
It's not an easy thing to do because obviously I am left-eye dominant. I like to cheat and look. And I guess one of the things is that I tend to struggle with my head position that way. I tend to try and cheat down the line. So what I felt at the PGA last year, I tried to feel as if I'm looking at this ball with my right eye only. Out of my right eye, I close my left eye. So I can't cheat and look down the line. I have to turn my head back. That's how I did it.
What do you feel here? How soft is that or not?
I try and feel on a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 5.5 or 6, which is not what I used to be.
Hey, look, Johnny Miller wanted it in a half yard, so you can do 5.5,
I'm laughing
6.
because years ago, well, not that long ago,
96.
when you were first a rookie on the tour, I gave Tiger this putter to practice with. He used to put this death grip on here. I mean, you could see his hands losing the blood out of his hands. He'd hold it so tight, and I had this grip that had a beep in it, so that when you putted it would, if you squeezed it too hard, it would beep. And I said, here, I want you to take this to the course, and I want you to putt with this because your grip's too tight. Well, he absolutely couldn't do it. I mean, he'd just start back and be going beep, beep, beep. So it made him so mad he'd squeeze it tighter where it would just beep the whole time. And it got to the point where he says, look, I'm not taking this to the course. It's embarrassing. I can't do it. And you started using it in your room every night.
Yeah.
And pretty soon he got to where his hands were on there a lot lighter, where he could make his stroke, and he wouldn't have this thing go off. The key was that it just gave you a much better feel.
I could feel the weight of the putter head. I remember in '97, when I made a run at Mark at Pebble Beach, we were talking to Ben Crenshaw, picking his brain on the practice tee, just picking his brain on how he likes to feel the putter. And he's always telling me, he's like this. You can just see it falling in his hands real light. He says, I've always believed in letting the putter head get behind my hands. And then from there, let the weight of the putter head hit the golf ball. Well, I said, okay, that makes sense. I took it back there, and my hands were going like this. I said, my hands are too tight. And so, I remember him just holding the blade like this. I loosened up my hands, got my putter head behind my hands, and then from there, let the weight of the putter hit the ball. I ended up shooting 63, 64 on the weekend,
Yeah.
putting that way after a little lesson from Crenshaw.
And Crenshaw got that from Bobby Jones, who liked to feel that when he was set up over the putter, that you could literally just tap the putter with your foot,
Knock
and
it
it
out
would
of your
fall
hands.
out of his
Yeah,
hands.
exactly.
We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. As we take a look at this, tell us about the width that you're working on up and down.
Well, Tiger has gigantic width in his swing. You've heard it talked about a lot, but he maintains it all the way to the top. If we watch this takeaway, club starts back low altogether. This is at the PGA last year where you won. At this waist-high position, you can see how far the club shaft is from his right hip. That's the width in the swing. Now, the key and the thing that Tiger works on all the time is to maintain this width all the way up to the top. Let's go to the top of this swing. This was the 7th hole. I remember this drive. You just kill this thing.
I killed it every day.
He goes up to the top. You can see that width is maintained all the way up. Now, as we come back down, and there's the width on the other end. Now, you can tell how hard he was hitting that. His left foot is airborne at impact there because of the momentum of turning around. You see the extension of the right arm down the target line. Once again, the butt of the club is a long way from his belt buckle there. That's extension and that's width on both ends of the swing. If you go to the finish, you'll see how hard he hit this as he turns himself all the way around.
Jones got on his toes in that position when he tried to hit it hard. What does that mean, Butch?
Well, in Tiger's case, he really likes to snap his left knee shut as he comes into the ball. Take a set up here, Tegan. Let's talk about this a little, how you can get this extension, not only that, but you can generate the speed. The width is generated, and you can show them on the backswing how you start your backswing. You let the club get wide, and as you go up, and it stays wide all the way to the top. Now he comes down, arms in front, and as he comes into the ball, just before he hits it, this left knee goes back to a lock position. This is another thing Bobby Jones did. This is where he generates power. Most average players, when they play poorly, they tend to slide into the ball this way, and this left knee goes forward too much and doesn't let him rotate the hips. One of the things Tiger's always done is let this left knee slam shut. this clears his hips out of the way, and this is what helps generate all the power that he has.
Is that typical of great players?
I would say just about every good player, yes. Some of the old timers I remember. Byron Nelson, George Knutson was another one that had a lot of knee drive in their swing, and they used their hands a little more. This is something the average golfer, I think, would really help them clear their hips out of the way. Most of the time we see average golfers coming across and holding on. If they just let the club release, if I just stand here in this position and don't even do anything and lock my left knee, you see how my hips rotate a little this way. It just allows them to go. He does that as well as anybody, and that's why you see a little bit of the left foot motion, especially trying to hit a drive that hard.
Well, it's a long par 5. It's one of the longest ones on a golf course. I'm trying to get there in 2, and obviously I'm going to swing a little harder. So.
And you hit it perfect there every day.
I did. I love that tee shot.
Let's see what Michael in Ohio wants to ask you. How are you, Michael?
Just fine. How you doing?
Very well, sir. All of us are.
Great. Gentlemen, thanks for taking my call. Tiger, obviously, you're one of the best ball strikers that's ever played the game. However, by your own admission, that's not always so, and especially it happens during a round where you lose your stroke.
Correct.
Tell me, what is your mindset, and how do you go about correcting that, and especially in the middle of a round?
That's a great question, Michael. One of the things that I've always been a big believer in is just playing by feel, and obviously that's one of the things I said early in the show is that sometimes I'll hit a fade with a closed stance because that's what I feel that day. But trying to get the ball in the hole as few strokes as possible when you're not swinging well, that's a task. And one of the things that I found that works best for me is go to kind of like a go-to shot. One of the things that you saw at Firestone is I was playing the ball back in my stance, punching a lot of shots, taking huge divots, and that's one of the shots I've learned to try and get me in the clubhouse. That day, obviously I shot a low number, but to be honest with you, Butch knows this, is that I really wasn't feeling as comfortable with my golf swing that day as I should have been. The day before, I was feeling great. That morning, I was hitting a lot of loose shots and really wasn't hitting the ball as crisp as I liked. But I went out there and shot a low number, not feeling that great, just because I have a shot I can go to. That was a punch shot. A shot I played back in my stance, a little shorter backswing, shorter follow through, ball comes down, and one of the things that Butch has taught me is that the less the ball stays in the air, less time it has to go offline. And I'm a big believer in that, trust me, because I can hit the ball offline.
And he hits it so far that when it gets up there in the atmosphere, it's gone for a while. So Tiger's really worked hard, and you've heard him say this in his interviews and read this, that he's really tried to bring the trajectory down a little because then it goes the same distance. Another thing that happened that particular day is you were having a hard time turning the ball over from right to left.
Man, was that
so
ever.
really, Michael, what he did is he played the whole round just hitting the left to right shot because that was the only thing you had that day.
That's the only shot I had that day.
And you just got to go with the one you got.
When you were having distance control with your wedges, from then till now, it's really night and day. You've become one of the best in the world at controlling the distance on your wedges. What do you do in a pre-shot routine? We looked at the shot at Pebble from 96 yards. What do you do physically and inside your head as you get ready to hit that shot to dial in this distance now?
Well, what I've learned is I've gone back to old basics. Is my dad was a big believer in the clock system. And what I mean by that is this is 6 o'clock. Obviously, up here right behind my head is 12 o'clock. And what my dad was a big believer in, for some reason, always taking it back to where you felt it was, I guess it's 9 o'clock. And I never liked it on wedge shots. Always been, okay, I'll go at 9 o'clock, whatever, Pop. You don't know anything. Later in life, what do you think I'm doing now? I'm going right back to the old basics. Yeah, going back to what I feel is 9 o'clock there, and go ahead and hit the shot. And what I found is I went ahead and stepped off my yardages. And what I feel is 9 o'clock, and I hit the shot with a wedge, it goes a certain distance. Same thing with a sand wedge, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and so forth and so on. And from there, when I'm out there on a golf course and I got a number that I like for each position on the clock, I go ahead and just hit it.
Talk about the shot that you hold at Pebble Beach. The pin really on a slope that day, and normally it would have been your sand wedge, but you knew
60.
You knew if you
Old days.
Yeah, 3 years ago it would have been a full swing 60, and the ball would have spun all the way back off the green. But you knew that if you used your sand wedge, your normal sand wedge, your 56 degree, it was going to put too much spin on. So talk our viewers through a little bit on what your thinking process was and why you hit the shot the way you hit it?
Well, 96 yards is absolutely a perfect sandwich for me. I feel it's a little bit more than a three-quarter sandwich. I can hit a full sandwich about 115, and to hit one 100 yards right on the money is just perfect. And I felt, well, if I hit that sandwich and there was soft greens, it's just going to spin right off the shelf. So what I tried to do, I took my wedge out, because I know if I take my wedge to 9 o'clock and shut it off, and what I feel is a little bit easier, because I know I got the adrenaline pumping. I'm in the term. I got a chance to win. Well, what I feel is 9 o'clock obviously isn't going to go there. So I know I'm going to go a little further. So let me ease off on the swing a little bit more. So I tried to feel like I took it right to there, even though I went to probably about there. And from there, try to feel as if I hit it with absolutely no power. Just because I was nervous, I know my adrenaline was pumping. I'm going to hit the ball a little further, so I took a little more off of it, and it worked out perfect.
Did you ever tell your dad he was right?
Of course not.
We'll be right back. No,
He knows now.
We've got Robert Floyd on the phone. How are you tonight, Robert?
Good, Peter. How you doing?
Very well, thanks.
All right. The question I had, obviously your relationship's very good, Butch, as ours is. And question I had, Jack Grout and Jack Nicklaus, obviously, arguably the best relationship teacher-instructor over the course of Jack's career, and obviously you two are the same. Jack always said that the main thing he got from Jack Grout was he learned how to teach himself when he was playing bad. And I was wondering, Tiger, how close are you to that? And have you learned enough about your golf swing where you can take care of your problems maybe on your own if Butch happens to be in Malaysia teaching the King of Morocco or whatever?
Or you, even.
Or me.
And yeah, you still owe me, too.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. No, but
You want to explain that?
yeah, I know. He's right on. Is that what Butch is trying to do is trying to make me understand my golf swing. And you get to a point where on the golf course, just like what Michael asked earlier in the show, is that what you try and do is get to a point where you can actually figure things out on the golf course on your own and try and get in the clubhouse with the lowest scores possible. And in order to do that, you have to have an understanding of your golf swing, what works best under certain conditions, and from there, you go ahead and you trust it. And Butch has done a wonderful job of teaching me what works best for me. It may not work best for everybody, but I understand my golf swing, and that's what's important.
What do you do when you're not together to look at tape and think through what should be the next step and the way to get to the next level, the two of you together?
Well, as Tiger knows, I tape every tournament he plays in. And because I live on the West Coast in Las Vegas, I actually have a chance to look at it before I go home, because after every round, he'll usually call me. And he knows that I've already taken the tapes, I've already downloaded it in my computer. Myself and my assistants have already looked at it. We've stored the swings in the computer. I go home at night. He either calls me or I call him, and we have a discussion about what were you thinking of on this shot on such and such a hole, and why'd you do this? And or his basic question would be, I'll pick up the phone, I'll go, hello. He goes, I can't hit a shot. Of course, I may have just shot 67 or something, but I can't hit a shot. Did you see that? Yes, I already saw it. Here's what I saw. And then the beauty of Tiger, and because we've worked together for so long, and we've been consistent in everything we work on. We're always working on the same thing. It's not gimmicks. It's not something new every time we see each other. It's just constantly trying to improve his golf swing, not make him look like anyone else. And this is what everyone at home needs to know, is you want to get the best out of your swing. And so what we try and do with Tiger is get the best out of his ability. And he knows I've already looked at it, and I'll say, this is what you need to do. And he'll say, oh, okay, that answers why the ball started over here. So again, you go right on the practice tee the next day, and we'll change it.
Now, about a year ago, you got a different call from him when you were working on the range, and you called Butch and said, I've got it. What did you have?
Well, it was right before the Byron Nelson, actually. And we had started in the middle of '97. I told you that I wasn't happy with my swing at the Masters, even though I won by 12 and played great. But, you know, anybody can time their golf swing for a week at this level. Anybody can do that. But now, time it for an entire career. And there's no way I could have done that with that golf swing. So we decided to change it and progressively change it over time, in which we did. And it's a swing adjustment that I could have done, over a 6-month period and been fine. But at what level would I have come out of there mentally was the question. Would I have zero confidence or have any confidence and trust in my own abilities because I would have gone so far down? So we decided to do it step by step. So from 97 all the way through 98 to the beginning of 99, I'm still working on the same things. I hit one golf shot. That's all it took, was one golf shot, and I felt exactly what my golf swing needed to be. And I said, you know what, I'm back. Butchie, call up Butchie, and I said, Butchie, I got it.
Call me right from the range. Just picked his cell phone up.
Call him.
And said, I've got it. I said, you got what? He says, it all feels natural now. Meaning I don't have to think about all these positions. The other thing that people don't realize, when Tiger made this change, he still had to play. So this wasn't something like a David Ledbetter did with a Nick Faldo, for example, where they just stopped playing for a few months and rebuilt the swing. He had to play through this process. So it was important to just do it step by step. He didn't like it because he kept saying, give it all to me now, give it all to me now. I want it now.
Which is what the recreational player does, right?
One of the things that was driving me crazy is that in every press conference I was always asked, you know, how do you feel about yourself? Well, I'm getting better. How could you say you're getting better when you're not winning? Well, I am getting better. It's just it hasn't shown up yet. And when it did, I started winning a lot of tournaments.
When we come back, we'll talk about dealing with expectations of other people in just a second. Don't go away. How do the two of you deal with, and we just started talking about this before the break, the expectations of the media, the fans, when you're working on something and haven't gotten to where they want you to go? And now the expectations are of your fans that you should win every single week.
Well, you know, Tiger told everybody in '98, look, I'm playing better, my swing's getting better, and everyone says, well, you're not winning tournaments. He says, it doesn't matter, I'm playing better, I will win tournaments. '99 is a perfect example. The start of this year is a perfect example of how well he's played. Everybody has expectations. Nobody has expectations like he does. He expects and thinks he should win every tournament he plays in. Realistically, if he went to bed at night, he would realize, oh, maybe I can't win them all. But deep down inside, you feel like you can win every one of them.
Why not?
That's what I like about the man.
How do you feel like you're doing on the progress chart that you set out for yourself a few years ago?
Behind on certain parts and ahead on others.
What are you behind on?
Behind on the standpoint, I thought I would have won more tournaments per year, but then I had that stretch where obviously I didn't win because I was changing my golf swing. I never foresaw that I had to do that. I thought I'd progressively just kind of win tournaments, but I made up for it last year though.
I would say so in the beginning of this. How do you rate it, given your expectations as a teacher over the last 7 years, where you are today?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I think Tiger's swing right now is the best it's ever been. I said that going into the Masters. I'd never seen him swing better. He proved that at the start of the year. He's gotten better and better as every week goes on. He works hard. He's always trying to improve what he does. He's a tremendous athlete and a tremendous golfer. And from a teaching standpoint, you couldn't ask for a better student because he wants to improve. Believe me, he could go out and shoot 57 and he'd tell you should have shot 56 because I hit one bad shot over there. And that's the thing I like about him. He is a perfectionist. He normally a person that gets in any profession to be the best in the world, they know it all. He wants to learn and he keeps on learning.
Well, the key to all of it is we have so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't think people understand or has gotten across to the fans and the public is how much fun we have when we work. We're out there for 4 or 5 hours just banging balls, but we're loving it.
Which is why, as we give his phone number right now, nobody's going to be able to get any time with him, but let's just tell him anyway. Butch Harmon, the School of Golf in Henderson, Nevada, 888-2SEIKO, 888-2SEIKO, or 702-889-2444. And when you call and the recording says, I'm busy right now with Tiger, and when I'm done with Tiger, I've got to spend a couple minutes with Darren, you'll know you're not getting in line. But go ahead and call.
We always have time for all our students, Peter.
Great to have you here.
Thanks,
Great
Peter.
to see you.
You got it.
Congratulations on the
Thank you
great
very
start
much.
to the year. Thanks, everybody. Good night.